Welcome to KitPlus Daily. We're still doing our bit for social distancing. We have the technology to work from home, so we will. About 30 miles from each other.
That's right, and we've had some great guests on the show so far, and you can catch up on the previous shows on our YouTube channel.
And another great guest is waiting in the wings right now, and that's coming up right after the news.
More big news from BirdDog. They have announced Dante Support for all hardware for Comms Pro and new Dante Bridge software. The new Dante Bridge software bridges Dante and NDI, the most prolific IP formats out there at the moment. All BirdDog hardware, including converters and PTZ cameras, will be supporting Dante. And so will Comms Pro, their visual intercom system. It's all good value. Go and have a look.
Absolutely. Something I'm particularly excited about and can't wait to get my hands on it and have a look. Moving on to Blackmagic Design have announced Teranex Mini SDI to DisplayPort HK HDR, an advanced HK DisplayPort monitoring solution for DisplayPort monitors such as the new Apple Pro Display HDR. With dual on-screen scope overlays, HDR, scaled and pixel by pixel modes, and 33.3D LUTs, Teranex Mini SDI to DisplayPort has been specifically designed for use in professional film and television markets. Teranex Mini SDI to DisplayPort HK HDR is available now worldwide.
Cool. And German news channel Deutsche Welle is relying more than ever on LiveU's mobile IP broadcasting technology to maintain and expand its global live coverage during the current coronavirus crisis. For its mobile smartphone production kits, Deutsche Welle is taking advantage of LiveU's LiveU Smart App. The mobile application is currently used by more than 400 trained reporters within the worldwide Deutsche Welle network to broadcast live from any location.
As you probably already know, Media Proxy is the global leader for all things compliance. With over 20 years in the business and over 15,000 channels deployed in over 60 countries, they are the trusted partner in the industry for logging, monitoring and analysis of linear broadcast and OTT. What you may not know is that their interactive Monwall multiviewer allows for monitoring hundreds and thousands of live streams using a unique exception-based approach via dynamic layouts. Mixing compressed and uncompressed streams, as well as transport stream analysis, all via one interactive interface, opens up new workflows, especially for remote workflows. And if you're looking to replace your Volacon system, team up with a global leader in compliance. For more information, please check out their website below.
Thank you.
And I beat you to it, John. Today's special guest, it's that time of day again.
So, welcome Michael Geissler to KitPlus Daily. Thank you for joining us. First of all, Mo-Sys is all about camera robotics, virtual and remote production, as well as camera tracking. And that's quite an offering. Can you talk to us about the technology and how the industry as well is changing because of COVID-19?
I understand. It's actually quite a range and quite an offering, but in a way, it sort of all comes together, especially in times like COVID-19. What Mo-Sys does is we started off with robotics. We're really strong in the film industry where we have the most precise camera heads and control systems that we then also leverage into the broadcast industry. In the broadcast industry, we started off with camera tracking, on where you put encoders on cranes, which is quite complex, and we came up 9 years ago with the idea for the StarTracker. And the StarTracker is a camera tracking technology. You put small stickers onto the ceiling, but then afterwards the operation is totally non-complex and really allows you to sort of focus on the creativity. And that is sort of like the barrier of entry at the moment is complexity for virtual studios. And virtual studios are a key, I think, especially in COVID-19, when people can't travel anymore, can't be where they want to be. So you bring these people virtually together in a virtual space from different locations. And interesting, what you need for that is virtual production. You also need remote production, remote control. And this is basically the whole workflow sort of Mo-Sys embraces. And that is from the camera tracking to camera robotics. So we can make it that in several places around the world, robotic systems are moving timely accurate and timed by the atomic clock. So you have anywhere in the world, but it's exactly the same movement. So you can have different people around the globe coming together in one studio. And yeah, our robotics are...
That's very cool.
Virtual production is key, I think, in these times. We also just launched last week a joint product with Panasonic, and they have they're sort of walking towards a democratization of virtual production. So everything needs to get cheaper so that we have a wider market. And they have a really amazing robotic head that sort of includes, is highly integrated. It has a 20:1 lens, it has a 4K camera, it has integrated tracking, and is a remote head, so 4 things in one. And actually quite affordable for that. And with that remote head, you can sort of remotely operate, but also have your virtual studio. And we've taken it one step further. We added our StarTracker, and now suddenly, instead of just doing pan and tilt, basically panning and tilting around in here, like a 2D image, you can actually make the space three-dimensional by moving your camera around. You draw in the viewer by making your space three-dimensional, and your three-dimensionality only comes through changing parallax. So basically, when you move a camera, not just when you angle it. And that's a fantastic collaboration, and we launched that product last week, and I think it's all going the right way. You mentioned COVID-19, and I think it has quite an impact. How are we going to move forward? And in the film as well as in the broadcast industry, it's all about distance and how to overcome that distance. Now, in the broadcast distance is much bigger. There are events for just 1 or 2 days, and you don't want operators to travel anymore. And we have a technology called TimeCam that does allow us to control a camera in another continent, but without a perceived delay of time, which means you can do sports and things like that. So we're going to launch that soon, or have a webinar on it and go more into details. The other thing is, right now, Hollywood or most film productions are roaring to go back into business and finally start filming again. And they're thinking about how to react to that and how to have social distancing on a film set when everybody is sort of like crowded around the camera and very close to the actor and all that stuff. So they want to de-risk primarily the actors and just pull the set of all the people around the camera apart. And for example, the focus pullers are ideal. They already have their remote focus systems and are either in other rooms behind monitors or at the edge of the studio. And we have our L40, which is one of the most precise camera heads. It's on, I don't know, was on Shape of Water. We had it on Gravity and all these movies, and it's super precise. I mean, there is no what they call backlash. It doesn't move, it doesn't give. So it's like being there, but you can have a distance. So the operator would be at the back of the studio. So there will be in future a lot of de-risking, more distancing in film shoots, and that means remote control.
Great, Michael. So can you briefly go into a bit more detail about how this StarTracker works?
Okay, StarTracker is in effect an upwards-looking camera with some LEDs around it, and the other part you need is retroflective stickers. So you put these on non-moving parts in a studio ceiling, can be on the wall, can be on the floor. It's a sort of thing that is on police cars or ambulances. Don't peel it off those, but you could, and stick them on your ceiling. And the StarTracker will then, from a randomly stuck pattern, find its own position where it is in sort of 6 degrees of freedom, they call it. So it goes forwards, backwards, sideways, upwards, and all the orientation. So if you now a phone camera underneath or above, this way around, also possible, then you know where that camera is, and it sort of brings your virtual and the real world together. Then and that's it's the glue for AR. It's the glue for virtual production, is to know where your real camera is if you film with real actors. It brings those worlds together. Another big element is also the lens. Real world lenses are distorted, and you want the computer image also to be distorted in exactly the same way. So there's also a lot of measuring going on. But once you have the position and the orientation and as well the lens, you can match the computer image. And at that point, you can make it like reality and virtuality sort of go together or live in harmony. We did our first webinar last week, and that was together with Panasonic about the UE150 StarTracker, and that was very successful. And there will be more. I mean, we're just sort of easing our way into basically having our own webinars. It's quite exciting, and there's much more to come.
We'll keep an eye out. Thank you very much for coming in and talking to us, and look forward to seeing you in person at one of the shows coming up.
Is that when we're going to go to exhibitions again?
One day. You never know.
Thank you
very much, Michael.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody. It was great being with you. Thank you very much.
Wow, makes our efforts seem a bit amateur. Perhaps we should look at getting that installed in our central control room. We did launch this within a week, and we are all 30 miles apart. And this is all coming to you largely thanks to John plugging the right things into the right holes at more or less the right time.
Oh, thanks, Matt. Well, I have to say by control room, he means my shed. And I think, actually, I will put that on my LinkedIn profile. I will now be John Pratchett, Chief Hole Plugger.
I think the employment opportunities will open up no end for you, John. That's enough holes plugged for today, I think. So we'll see you next time.
Goodbye.
Yeah.